Hi, this is Jeff Roberti coming to you from my home here in Sarasota, Florida, Siesta Key Beach. Gustavo asked for me to share with you a leadership training and a little bit about my story and some success tips. I got started with the Juice Plus company a little over 30 years ago. I was a 24-year-old ex-broke waiter. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, behind on my bills in life, my promises in life, to myself, to my friends, to my family. And I guess the word is I was dissatisfied. And have you ever met somebody that's just hungry, that has a burning desire, a willingness to work and teachable? That was me. And so what I was lacking in education or money or experience or background, I made up just having a really good work ethic, just really going out there and paying the price. And I got introduced to this company as a customer first. A friend of mine shared with me the products. I was a satisfied customer. Matter of fact, I became a raving fan customer. And then I found out there was an opportunity to share these products and to build a business and to be your own boss and to earn what you're worth and to have the American dream, free enterprise, where you could have your own business. And it's interesting, my sponsor at the time, who introduced me, had been in the business almost 3 years, and he quit the business my very first month. And the lesson there is you never know who the next person is you're going to sponsor. And don't prejudge anyone. He prejudged that this 24-year-old ex-broke waiter was going to do anything, but he didn't realize just how hungry I was and the desire and the willingness in being teachable. Well, my very first conference that I went to, my first month in the company, I didn't have the money for the plane ticket or the hotel. It was live in Florida, Sarasota, Florida. It was up in North Carolina. And so I decided, you know what, Jeff, you can make excuses or you can make money, but you can't make both. So I decided to rip up my list of excuses, drove up in my car, about a 10-hour drive, and I slept in the car, worked out at the gym, took a shower, put the one suit on I had, skinny little tie. I had long hair back then, and I sat in the room at that conference, and I heard stories of average people earning an above average income. And I said to myself, if they can do it, I can do it. And I'll never forget getting in that car, driving home, crying tears of joy, thanking God for answering my prayers, that this was my chance. And I'll never forget when I first got started in the business, my original mentor back then, the late, great Jim Rohn, said to me, he said, Jeff, you can have more in life if you become more in life. And for things to change, you've got to change. And for things to get better, you've got to get better. In other words, your products work. Juice Plus is a world-class product that's been out for almost 30 years now. And you've got a 50-year-old solid, stable, lasting company, the Juice Plus company. The products work, the opportunity works, the company works. The only variable is the you part. Another one of my mentors back then, the late, great Zig Ziglar, maybe some of you remember Zig. He said, Jeff, if you help enough other people get what they want out of life, you'll have everything you want out of life. In other words, this business is never about you. It's always about the person in front of you. 3 things I focus on. Number 1, meeting other people's needs, not my needs, their needs. And meeting their needs with our product, touching their lives with our health, with Juice Plus, and touching their lives with our opportunity, their wealth, where they could have their own business and be able to earn what they're worth. The second thing is you want to add value to their lives, not only meet needs, but add value. And then the third thing is you want to create raving fan relationships. Long-term relationships equal long-term success. Well, when I got started, I ripped up my list of excuses. I decided I wasn't going to look up line. I wasn't going to look down line. I was going to look in the mirror. If it's to be, it's up to me, right? And so then I decided that there was no excuses, all distractions are equal. And the 3 things I'll share with you was this. 1, you've got to decide what you want. What do you really want from this business? Are you going to treat it like a business? Or are you going to treat it like a hobby? And when you decide what you want, be specific, measurable. What outcomes do you really want from this business? The second thing is the why part. Why? Reasons come first. The how part, it's really a simple business. It's not an easy business. It does require work. There's no free lunch. Nobody's going to lift your weights for you. It does require some consistency of effort and work habits and discipline, going out there doing the basics and the fundamentals every day. But the how part is one thing, but the why part, reasons come first. Why are you doing this business? Peel the layer of the onion. Get down to a why that'll make you cry, something that's emotionally charged, that has a compelling future, that'll get you up early, keep you up late, and you'll put in that extra 10% effort that'll produce 90% of the results. And the third thing is once you've got why the reason why you're doing the business, what you want from the business, then you put together what I call an all-out massive action plan. Then you put together, here's what I need to do. I'll share with you my why when I got started in the business. I didn't come from a wealthy family. I'm the oldest of 3 boys, and my dad died at an early age of 46. And I'll never forget when I was sitting in the back seat of my mother's car. And, I was a young kid sitting in the back seat. My mom was a very proud woman, but her car wasn't the nicest car. It had rust, it had dings in it. And she acted like it didn't bother her, but I knew deep down inside it hurt. And you know how sometimes people talk and other women and saying things about it. And I know it really hurt her. And I used to say to myself, if someday, Jeff, if I could, I would like to help my mother. How many of you ever said that? If I could, I would. I'd like to help my mother or my father or my grandparents or my children or my favorite charity. What is if you could, you would? Well, for me, back when I started my business, my original why was not to buy a car for myself. My first why when I started was to buy my mom the car of her dreams. And so after working really hard in the business, investing back into the business, burning the midnight oil, going out there doing the basics, the fundamentals consistently over and over again, I was in the position to finally go out there and buy that car of my mom's dreams without her knowing about it. And when I found out what the car of her dreams was, I found out that my mom had really good taste, by the way. And so when I bought the car, I was in the position to pay cash for it. I got the insurance card. I put all the bells and whistles, got her a gas card, the whole thing. If you're going to shoot a king, kill him. Don't wound him. If you're going to do it right. And on Christmas morning, guys, listen to this. On Christmas morning, I live down in Florida. My mom lives up in the mountains. Christmas morning, I have the car sitting outside her home with a big red bow on it. Hey, you know how you have that morning dew on the car? And the sun was coming up and the car was just shining, just glistening with that dew on it, the sun coming up over the mountains. And I was able to have my mom come to the door. She saw the car. I handed her the keys. I told her how much I loved her. And I saw tears of joy coming down my mother's face. I thought I was the one that was giving. I was the one that was receiving. The floodgates were open. And so I share that story with you because get a why that'll make you cry. It's funny, I shared that story at one of our big conventions a few years after that. I think it was like 7, 8 years after that. And she was in the audience and it was thousands of people in the room. And after the presentation, she pulled me off to the side and she goes, Jeffrey Douglas, when my mom's upset with me, she goes, I wish you wouldn't tell that story. You make us sound like we were so poor. And by the way, that car is almost 10 years old now. And it's a little slippery in the snow. It's a 2-wheel drive. And don't forget, you only have one mother. And I said jokingly, thank God I can't afford 2 the way this is going. And I say that jokingly because I bought her several cars over my 30-plus year career, and a home in the mountains and a home down in Florida. But being in the position, was it worth sacrificing and saying no to some of the things that really weren't that important? Maybe some of the partying and going to the beach and goofing off, so I could be in the position to say yes to things that are truly important. I'll share with you one other story. about 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. My grandmother was in her 90s, really sick, her health was starting to fail her. And my mom had called me and she was on the phone and she said, Jeffrey, I have something to ask you and I don't know how to ask you this, but your grandmother's really sick and they want to put her in one of those homes and she wants to stay in her home, but private home health care, to have health care there in the home is expensive. And I said, stop. The answer is yes. It was a 6-figure commitment and I did that for several years. And I told this story when I was over in Tel Aviv and I was talking about paying the price and being a leader, and saying no so you can be in the position to say yes. And one of the kids in Tel Aviv over in Israel raised his hand. He goes, was it really worth it working that hard in your 20s and 30s? And I told that story about my mom calling me and being in the position to say yes. And then after that, a few years after that, I was in Australia, in Sydney, Australia, and I was telling the story. And I went back to my room, and my message on my phone was my mom crying on the phone, saying, your grandmother passed away tonight in her bed, in her home. And I was holding her hand, and I can't tell you how much it meant to both of us. You tell me if it's worth it. So I share these stories with you because you've got to find a reason why you're doing this business. The how part's easy. So a few success tips to share with you. Number one, the most important step in your Juice Plus career is for you to become a product of the product. And what do I mean by that? I told you I was a customer first. I've always retailed to recruit. My best team members, my best partners have always come from my retail customers. You want more recruits, you want more team members, put on more customers. You'll find those raving fan customers, the ones that are passionate about it, that, it's not selling, it's sharing. They're out of their head and they're into their heart and they really want to share this gift of health because they believe in the product. They believe in themselves, they believe in the company, they believe in the opportunity. But so you want to retail to recruit. And so the most important step for you as a leader is for you to become a product of the product. I have found it's not what you say, it's how you feel about what you say. People communicate more with feelings than they do words. And so if you're using the product every day and you're a product of the product, you have what I call emotional sincerity. It comes from the heart. You truly want to share this gift of health with people. And you want to use all the products, not only the capsules, but the complete and all the products that we have in our line. It's very important that you use all the products because it's hard to share something that you don't believe in. Because our product is sold by word of mouth, one satisfied customer to another. So that's the most important step in your Juice Plus career. The next thing as a leader is getting very clear on what is your job description. What do you get paid for? What does Jeff Roberti do all day long? What do you need to do to build your business? The company has their role, but what do we get paid for? And that is for going out there and sharing the story. When I say sharing the story, sharing the products, sharing the opportunity, building for events, building relationships. Long-term relationships equal long-term success. In other words, you want to go out there and consistently onboard new customers every day and onboard new team members. No matter what your position is, no matter what your rank is, no matter what your income level is, your job description never changes. And as a leader, here's what happens. As you start to build an organization, a lot of people will fall into a trap called the management mode, the comfort zone. Well, they'll just manage the existing team they built. Sometimes it's years ago of a team they built. And that's the easy thing to do. Just keep working with the same group. What you want to do is stretch yourself, get into uncharted waters, and always stay in the production stage. Producing, where you're going out there always putting on new customers, new distributors, new partners, new team members, building a new frontline team, a new freshman class. And to be a leader and to have the opportunity in Mexico and to work with Gustavo and to open up this new market. The opportunity is incredible because Mexico will go into Central America and down into South America. The opportunity is incredible. You literally could compress a lifetime of work into the next 3 to 5 years. So it's very important for you to understand your job description. Now, here's the other thing I'll share with you as a leader. It's easier to lead people than it is to push people. In other words, it's easier to give birth than raise the dead. Sometimes you find yourself pushing people to try and get them to do the business. Understand the way this thing works is 80, 15, and 5. What does that mean? 80% of the people you bring on are going to do it part-time, sometime, or no time. 15% are going to step up and play at a little higher level, maybe move up a few ranks, and less than 5% are really going to step up and take this thing serious and become national marketing directors and above. So here's what my attitude is. I love people whether they do a little or they do a lot. I value that customer just as much as I do as one of my top team members in my organization. So you want to understand that you've got to go out there and consistently stay in the production stage, and you want to lead by example. In other words, you want to be the best distributor in your organization. Hold yourself accountable. Raise your standards. Distributors don't do what you tell them to do. They do what you do. They watch the feet, not the lips. A great question to ask yourself. Would you follow you? Your daily method of operation, your attitude, your consistency of effort and work habits and discipline. Are you the type success breeds success? So you want to always go out there and lead, not push people. Very, very important. The other thing I'll share with you is this. You want to have not only where you come from a position of strength and that voice of authority and that congruency and that belief in our product and our company and our opportunity and yourself, but you also want to have a servant's heart. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. The longest journey in life is from the head to the heart. If you're in your head, you're dead. But if you get into your heart and you truly are out there gifting people, sharing this wonderful gift of health and wealth. Listen, guys, 2021, the new wealthy is healthy. Everyone is looking to improve their health, and what does Juice Plus do? I mean, almost 30 years, world-class product. We know what Juice Plus does. Look at the studies, look at the research, look at the millions of satisfied customers around the world. Juice Plus is world-class. It's a product that people want, people need, and they don't have. And then you look at a 50-year-old, solid, stable, lasting company. We've got the best of both worlds. Juice Plus is a sleeping giant. In 15 years, we've done over $15 billion in sales. And you know what? I would bet the next 50 years on the last 50 years. I've been with the company a little over 30 years. I bet the next 30 over the last 30. The best is yet to come. The best years are ahead of us, not behind us. So my message to you in closing is this. There's so much great content that you can study on leadership. John Maxwell, Tony Robbins. There's so many things. Feed your mind. 3 things I do every day is, number 1, I feed my mind. What books are you reading? What tapes are you listening to, right? What are you listening to? Who are you spending time with? Who you spend time with is who you become, right? So you want to feed the mind. You want to condition the body and connect spiritually every day. And so there's so much out there on leadership. I call it net time, no extra time. It's really easy to listen to something when you're exercising or you're in your car. Turn your car into a university. But personal development, always growing. I have found when I'm growing, growth and progress equals happiness. You're the happiest in life when you're growing. You want to be a leader? Continue to grow. I'll never forget when I met the late, great Jim Rohn. I was that broke waiter. climbing the mountain. I was down in the valley climbing the mountain. He said, Jeff, you're going to have so much growth. And it's not the money, it's not the position, it's who you become in the process. But what happens is when people get to the top, they tend to celebrate. They tend to party. Be careful not to sit at the table of success too long. When you're green, you grow. When you're ripe, you rot. It's called CANI, C-A-N-I, constant and never-ending improvement in all areas of your life. If you take the wheel of life, and you look at the spokes on the wheel of life, how is your spiritual mastery? How's your physical mastery, your relationship mastery, your emotional mastery? Just go right around that wheel. You want a constant and never-ending improvement. Growth. Growth equals happiness. The second thing is that in the law of the universe, all things either grow or they die. But the second, and I call them the spiritual needs, one is growth. Number two is contribution. Contribution, paying it forward. I'm in this business today because I love what I do. I get to add value to people's lives. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure in life. How many times you meet people, they have the money, but they're not happy. You want to have something that's rich in relationships and love and connection and growth and contribution. And that's what our business is all about. There's so much meaning and purpose and fulfillment. I love the fact that I get to do something that's mission driven, cause oriented, something that's bigger than myself, something where I can go out there and touch and change people's lives, make an impact, make a difference. Just never forget where you came from. I decided years ago to retire into my business, not from my business, to refire, not retire. And I'm so rich in fulfillment, meaning, and purpose that I'll never quit this. I love what I do. So I would encourage you as a leader, especially looking at this in Mexico, to step up. You've got an opportunity. I've lived and worked in over 25 countries around the world. Over 70% of my income comes from outside the U.S. because I always kept stretching myself and going into new markets. I worked all over the United States, Canada, Europe, Australia, all these different markets. And it's fun. Have fun. Enjoy it. Lighten up and your sales will brighten up, as Jay Martin, our president, said. Have fun with this. And you got a chance to do something that counts, something that matters, something where you can make a difference in so many people's lives. So in closing, I'll say this. If there was ever a time for a call to action, marching orders, a chance to seize the moment, strike while the iron's hot, to have that sense of urgency, that fear of loss, to not take this for granted. A great question to ask yourself, what do I have to do to make this business a bigger priority in my life? Treat it like a hobby or treat it like a business? You get out of it what you put into it. But I can tell you this, if you go to work and you stay consistent and you have the discipline and the work habits, you could compress an entire lifetime of work into a 3 to 5 year plan and have residual income. It's incredible because you can get paid tomorrow off of what you did yesterday. You can build something where you have the residual, where not only you have the money, but you have the time freedom that comes with the money. You have the quality of life that most other people only dream of, or you have with what you have with this company. So this is your chance. It's your turn now. This is coming from me, the top distributor in the world with Juice Plus. The best is yet to come. The best years are ahead of us, not behind us. And with our global expansion team and the plans that this company has and our world-class leadership that we have at the home offices around the world and this product and this opportunity, there's one excuse you don't have. And that's to say that you've never been at the right place at the right time. But it doesn't mean you're going to get the prize. There's no free lunch here. Nobody can lift your weights for you. You've got to step up. Like I said, the products work, The marketing system works, the company works. The only variable is, how do you feel about these products? How do you feel about this opportunity? How do you feel about this company? But most importantly, how do you feel about your own financial future? This is your chance. Don't take it for granted. And if you've been searching in life, like I was praying and looking for an opportunity. And when God answered my prayers, this was my opportunity of a lifetime. So I'm going to say, if you've been searching, welcome to the Juice Plus family. Welcome to the company with a heart. You have found a home. God bless you. Thanks for having me.